Although I'm sure by now he would have lost them, and Iris has now built up a decent fleet of science vessels, and for the last kind of 5 or so minutes, Jaedong has been unable to reduce Iris' science vessel count further, and I feel that's causing Iris. Jaedong looks like he's got a bunch of overlords there. I'm not sure if he's going for a drop. He might be looking to go for a drop into Iris' main here, trying to take on Iris' supply line, which is the soft underbelly of the Terran Turtle. And Iris is dropping a number of units into, Jaedong is dropping a number of units into Iris' base. Iris is venturing forth to that 6 o'clock natural, and looks like he's going to try and get up that ramp. There are a decent number of Sunkas there, and Iris is losing a lot of supply depots here. Iris is going to be forced to pull some of his forces back to try and defend that, because he is losing supply depots. He has got siege tanks out against that expansion as well. Jaedong looks like he's doing massive damage. Both players choosing to go on the offensive. Jaedong obviously committing his forces to attack Iris. He's just trying to slow Iris down a little bit. He has got that swarm up, and he's got Zerglings under it as well as Ultralists, so he should be able to defend this expo at the 6 o'clock position, at the 6 o'clock natural. Meanwhile, I just want to see what the level of damage that that has been inflicted on Iris' base. Jaedong going with a very courageous drop of Zerglings, and Iris has actually dematrixed that tank, but Jaedong is going to be able to clear this up, and those swarms are going to allow him and Iris doing a great job of microing those Marines around. He's going to probably try and focus, he's going to try and kill as many of Jaedong's drones as he can, and if he can do some damage to, he needs to try and do some damage to Jaedong's economy here, but it looks like he's trying to focus on more of the Ultralists and the Zerglings, and looks like Iris has finally reclaimed his expansion, but you can see the massive amount of damage that Jaedong has inflicted there. He's taken out a lot of supply depots, and I think Jaedong has come out much better in that exchange. Iris lost his main ground force. His production is now going to be delayed. Jaedong hasn't even lost a single hatchery, even though he lost the units that he had there. I think Jaedong will take this exchange, and it looks like Iris is down to maybe a handful of science vessels as well. I think somewhere in the middle there, Iris lost a few science vessels as well, and Iris looks like he's going to be resorting to irradiating his own science vessels to try and take out Jaedong's economy and try and hurt it, and you can see that Terran is relatively desperate. Jaedong brilliantly using the Nidus canal to ferret his drones away. Brilliance by Jaedong. This is the first time, I have to say guys, this is the first time I've seen that. I've seen players try to use Burrow to save their drones. I've seen players try to scourge those science vessels out, take them out like that, but this is the very first time I've seen a Zerg player actually use the Nidus canal to sneak his drones away to avoid them being killed off by the science vessels. And now those Scourges are going to come out and finish off those 2 science vessels of Iris. And looks like Jaedong Jaedong meanwhile trying to take down that expansion. This is absolutely an epic match. This is reminiscent of so many great games we've seen between Zerg and Terran players on Python, and this is why I'm sad to see this map removed from the OSL and the MSL pool. And brilliance by Iris. He's actually dematrixed an SCV, and he's using an SCV with only 2 Marines behind it to hold off those Ultralists. This is pure skill by Iris. You've got to really hand it to him. He may not be playing at his utmost best, but he is really giving Jaedong a run for his money, though I do feel Jaedong is now slipping ahead in this game. That dematrix is still effective. He's also obviously got those bunkers filled with Marines, so it wasn't just the 2 Marines behind the SCV there blocking the ramp, but still you have to say it was pretty brilliant. Looks like Jaedong is loading up for another drop here, and looks like he is going to try and drop that expansion at the 9 o'clock position. He's actually got a number of Hydelists here trying to focus those science vessels. Those Hydelists are going to get taken down, and this time Jaedong has Scourges waiting in the right position. He's managed to catch off a couple of Iris' science vessels off with those Scourges, and almost takes down another one. Iris though has still, despite the fact that Jaedong has killed a decent number of science vessels, Iris has managed to build up a fleet of almost, I'd say, 8 to 10 science vessels, and now Jaedong is going for the drop while Iris goes for Jaedong's natural. Jaedong's going for the drop, and this base is relatively undefended. Most of Iris' defenses are at the choke, and that's where he's been relying on defending it from, and now Jaedong is going to drop. He's going to take those bunkers down as well. He's going to drop, and this expansion is definitely going to die in my opinion. He's probably going to be he's going to be forced lifted. I don't think Jaedong has any Hydelists, so Iris should be able to save it by lifting it, and he needs to focus his SCVs down, try and make sure Iris, and that's probably why Jaedong decided to drop at the ramp as opposed to going for, and that Spore Colony actually doing some decent damage to those science vessels. And wouldn't I love to see a Savior-esque Plague Gear and all of those units bunched up together, those science vessels, tanks and Marines. A single Plague Gear would deal lethal damage to Iris' forces. Jaedong meanwhile continuing to mop up that expansion at the 9 o'clock position. He's also now sending his troops at the 11 o'clock position. Iris committing most of his forces to his attack at Jaedong's main, going for the Jugular, going for Jaedong's main expo, and he's managed to kill the first sunken lines, but Jaedong is defending in depth, and now coming out with the swarm, managing to pick off another science vessel. Iris now reduced to about 5 or 6 science vessels, and Jaedong has this time managed to get swarm everywhere, and really what I wouldn't give to see a plague on all of those science vessels, and Jaedong this time is going to force Iris to unsiege those tanks and pull back. Iris trying to take that Nidus canal down. He's going to come in, and Iris actually pushing in with everything he has, feeling that Jaedong doesn't have too many units left here. He's going to take those Sunkens down, and this might be chaos for Jaedong. If he loses his tech, it's going to set him back a huge way, considering that I felt he was pulling back in this match. Jaedong bringing reinforcements in to fight off Iris' pushing troops, and he's actually going to be able to take down most of those units, and Jaedong actually fighting back, taking down those Marines and tanks. It looked for a second like Iris was going to break through his defense. Those siege tanks looks like they would have survived, but Jaedong has actually taken out most of them, since there are no longer medic and Marine groups left, and Iris irradiating most of those ultralists before retreating with his science vessels. And those again, this time I think a couple of hydralists there would have been very useful in that job for Jaedong, but Iris is in trouble now because his economy is damaged. He has committed everything he had into that attack to try and go for Jaedong's juggler. Obviously a Terran player with science vessels and with a bio build can outlast other races despite a low economy, and that is one of the biggest advantages of a bio build, as long as the Terran player can keep those science vessels alive. Jaedong obviously not too bothered with the damage that Iris did to him in that attack. If you think about it, Iris took down about 6 or 7 Sunkens, but effectively he did not kill a single hatchery, and he did not kill a single tech building of Jaedong's. And really I'm wondering why we haven't seen any attempts from Iris to maybe drop behind Jaedong's lines and try and focus his tech buildings down and distract him in that way. It looks like Iris has got a group of medic Marines in at that 5 o'clock expo and dealing some damage to Jaedong's drones there. Jaedong meanwhile is really inflicting the hurt on Iris' economy. Iris has built up almost a full control group of science vessels, and that group is really what is keeping Iris in this game, and what is the key for Jaedong. If he can find a way of taking those science vessels out, if he can get a plague on them along with a Mutalisk, I think he will take this game, although it looks to me definitely like Jaedong is now firmly ahead in this game, firmly in control. Iris doesn't have any economy to speak of. He's actually not mining from anywhere. He's losing his science vessels like nothing, and Jaedong looks like he is now in a position to almost finish this game off. Jaedong slowly and surely overcoming Iris in an epic struggle, I would have to feel. And Iris, I think, looks like he's ready to make his final attack on Jaedong's base. He's pushing out once again with his science vessels, siege tanks, and whatever small group of medic and Marines he's been able to muster up. The problem for Iris is that Jaedong's economy isn't in his main. Jaedong's economy is at the bottom of the map, at the 6 o'clock natural and main, as well as the Island Expo that Jaedong has taken. And Jaedong has actually taken the Island Expo also at the at the 1 o'clock position. Okay, Iris, I thought Iris was going to push forward, but Iris realizing that he actually needs to get an economy going again if he's going to sustain himself at all in this game. He's actually taken the expo just south of his main in the middle of the map, but I don't think that's going to be enough because he hasn't inflicted. And Jaedong this time does manage to catch a plague on a few of the science vessels. Iris brilliantly staggering his science vessels. He didn't bring them all in together. He sent 2 or 3 in initially and then brought the rest up in the rear. So that's avoided all of his science vessels causing up from the plague. I'm not sure that if that was intentional, but I certainly feel that it was. We've seen him do something like this before, but Jaedong this time managed to get, and Iris again losing those SCVs, and this is a little bit careless for Iris. He's sending those SCVs right into the path of those Zerglius to be eaten up by them at the 11 o'clock base, and you have to feel that Jaedong is firmly in control in this match. I don't think there's going to be a comeback for Iris at this stage. I really don't think it is possible at all, and it's just a matter of really Jaedong finishing Iris off, and Iris once again trying to take down Jaedong's economy, try and fight him way back with some innovative play by irradiating his own science vessels, and really that is desperation stuff from Iris when he's being forced to irradiate those science vessels. And Jaedong manages at the very least to lift that command center, even if he's going to save most of his SCVs, even if he's going to plant that command center down for a few seconds. The fact of the matter is that for that brief period of time, Iris is not mining any resources. Jaedong continues to mine quite comfortably from those expansions, and I do feel that the one thing that has been lacking in Iris's play has been, first of all, that he allowed Jaedong to pin him back. Maybe we have to give more credit to Jaedong for his initial Mutalisk harass as well as Zergling control. He allowed Jaedong to pin him back, and that one siege tank kill I think was absolutely huge. And Jaedong now has got the Mutalisk out to try and pick up those science vessels. One science vessel gets sniped. Iris manages to pull most of them back, and Iris has done a great job of keeping his science vessels alive. He really has microed excellently, but now Jaedong is going to come in with the Mutalisk and pick off a couple more of those science vessels, and really Iris does not have the economy to reproduce those science vessels nearly at the rate that he was pumping beforehand, not to mention keep up his medic and marine force going and produce siege tanks. Jaedong's economy continues to blossom, and it literally is just a matter of time before Iris GG's, and he does GG. So Jaedong playing almost a perfect game of StarCraft. There were a few chinks there that perhaps a more on-song turn could have exposed. Iris playing almost at his best. Brilliant play by both players. Absolutely an epic matchup. I don't think we could have hoped for a better opener in this tournament, in this deciding round. But I think Jaedong really showing people that he is here to be the premier Terran, the premier Zerg player, and really showcasing his Zerg versus Terran. Though I do feel that that he was a little bit careless with his Scourges on a couple of occasions, or more than a couple of occasions, and he would have been more comfortable had he been stronger with them. That Mutalisk harass by Jaedong, taking out that siege tank, I believe, was probably one of the focus points of the game, because it slowed Iris's push down long enough, and really by the time Iris got his tanks down there, Jaedong had his defilers ready, and Iris left those 2 siege tanks exposed to be picked off by Jaedong's lurkers and Zerglings. So great game by Jaedong. This is KlazartSC, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. What an epic matchup. Thanks for listening.